There's a lot of information that people get from the culture which is wrong, and misleads them. So for instance, I think repetitively in the culture, we're told that buying things and having more money makes people happy. So much so that many people simply reflexively assume that this is true. I did actually. Um, and I remember still how surprised I was when, um, I met my first patient who had more than $100 million, and he was the most miserable person I'd ever met. He was the most unhappy, miserable person I had encountered in my life up until that time. And I realized that was many years ago. This was decades ago. I realized, "Oh, wait a minute. This whole thing is a far this is not true at all, that having money makes people happy." And indeed it doesn't. So there's a whole cultural stream of information, that misleads us as to what a satisfying relationship life or work life or life in general could look like and make people happy. That's a problem. Then I think there's the social media problem, which is a separate problem, which is just the fact that so many people are plugged in almost around the clock continuously to information coming at them, which is of a highly charged emotional nature. And it's been designed that way, and it's been designed to make people angry and fearful. And that's not for no reason. It's for an identifiable reason, which is the people running these systems have determined that what gets most engagement, what gets more clicks, which gets more advertising revenue, is when people are made angry or frightened. So there's an enormous stream with billions of dollars behind it, of information that is fearfulness generating and anger generating, and it's just kind of streamed out at people. And you can see the consequences every day. I mean, I've gradually watched the fabric of society fray, um, because I've been around long enough to realize and experience that it wasn't always this way. So it used to be that people could disagree, with one another and not hate each other. It used to be that the two political parties tolerated each other's existences, even if one side thought the other was mistaken. And now it's more like a blood feud in which, one side thinks the other should be eliminated. I think a lot of that is attributable to the ratcheting up of negative emotions through social media. I think the best thing to do is ignore it completely. So, I don't consume social media and I don't consume the regular news media either, because I think it's psychologically unhealthy to do so.